Hi, David. How are you? Just let David take a second to get himself all on, get his audio up and his screen up. So if you're not familiar with Mallcomm, um, Mallcomm's been around for over 10 years. So, a lot of these companies are startups, but, Mallcomm is definitely not a startup. They've been in the space for 10 years in Europe and they're coming stateside. So David, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Perfect. You sound great. Feel free to share your screen whenever you're ready.
Okay.
So this is David Fuller. He's the Senior Vice President of Mallcomm.
Let me just grab into this. Move my face out of the way. Okay, can you see my screen?
Looks fabulous. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, thanks, Bethany, and thanks to CREtech for holding this virtual demo day. It's really exciting to be talking to everyone about Mallcomm and Toolbox Group. And the way I'd like to do is please feel free just to dive in with any questions. I don't know how the other presentations are going to be run, but feel free to stop me anytime. And I know Bethany will jump in and ask all those questions that come up. Mallcomm really came about through a desire from our perspective as a communications agency to communicate more effectively as tenants. We've been in business since 2000 and as a communications and innovation agency called Toolbox Group. We're based in the UK, but we have offices all across Europe, and we opened our US office in July this year, July 2018. And we really believe in a world where technology can help change processes, streamline operations, and be more efficient, and of course run better. And ultimately try and get to those people who really need information where there's no direct employee-employer relationship. So as landlords and property owners, we're always looking for ways in which we can communicate more effectively with our tenants. Mallcomm and our sister company, sister product, Raven, which is more for office and airports, are based around the need to try and communicate more effectively with tenants, trying and build engaging relationships, try and make sure that we can improve that community that brings everyone together, makes everyone more effective, and therefore is really important to make sure that we build a long-lasting relationship with our tenants and everything goes well. So Mallcomm is the prop tech that supports the world's leading retail and leisure destinations. It's primarily around retail property. It's shopping malls, shopping centers, leisure destinations, anywhere where there is a place where people want to visit and people want to enjoy themselves. Mallcomm can help communicate internally within that. It's a mobile system, integrates communications, operations into one powerful platform and management tool. It's specifically designed around shopping centers, but of course, Raven, as I mentioned, is also around our offices and airports and logistics companies. So, and both of those products have exactly the same features. The reason why we created Mallcomm was really about helping understand retailers, helping to get them to understand what they can do to promote their business. It sounds strange that still in 2018, most shopping centers across the world are trying to communicate with their tenants through newsletters, memos, emails where the addresses are wrong, get bounce backs. Mallcomm solves that problem. It allows you to communicate through a mobile platform so that anybody working within the property can actually download an app. They can register themselves and understand exactly what's going on in that shopping center. And of course, because it's such a total property management solution, it can help you drive more sales within your retail stores, participate more in the marketing, understand what's happening in that property, handle security, be more efficient. And they can also understand how the performance of the shopping center is taking on, and as trends happen and new ideas come on board. Bethany mentioned we've been in business since 2000, and Mallcomm's been running since really 2013 in its existing state. And in that time, we've got over 250,000 users worldwide. It's used by over 350 retail destinations in 16 different countries, and currently being used by over 6,000 stores and 2,800 brands. It's proven to engage retailers. And the best thing about Mallcomm is that retailers really like using it. Some of our landlord partners that we're working with at the moment, and some of our retail partners, all of these retailers on this list are users of Mallcomm in some country, in some way. And we know that we get great feedback from retailers. Apple are our biggest global user, H&M, Zara, Starbucks, McDonald's, they're all in our top 10 users of Mallcomm. And therefore they are using the system to be able to communicate back to landlords and back to property management teams to be able to get information to them and get information back. I think one of the things that makes Mallcomm so successful is that retailers like using it. The new age of retailers needing to help themselves, wanting to be more involved, wanting to understand their business better, wanting to understand the property market better, has meant that store managers, store staff are constantly engaging within their community and within their shopping center environment. And not just that, they're seeing it as a way to help themselves. By being able to use Mallcomm, they're actually able to help drive sales. They're actually able to help communicate and promote their brand within that shopping center environment and work with the shopping center teams to really promote themselves more and take part in the things that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. So the product itself, as I mentioned, it's a mobile system. It's business-to-business communication. So it's internal comms for communicating between management teams, third-party contractors, tenants, store managers, regional managers, head office retailers, and it's all in real time. It's a free-to-download mobile app. It's available in the App Store, iOS, Android. There's a desktop version, a mobile website version. So we really work on the basis that there's no excuse not to be able to get access to the information when you need it. It's real time. We work very hard on our infrastructure and our reporting to make sure that when you send a message out, you know who's read that message, when they read it, what store do they work in, what device do they read it on, did they answer you, did they create an action, and therefore you get the report straight away. You don't have to wait a day or a week like you do in some other platforms to be able to get the information back about the analytics and the reporting that you need. There are white label versions available. A number of our clients are using the system in a white label version, and therefore it's branded to your own shopping center or to your own property company. And we always work on the basis that it's relevant information to relevant people at relevant times. All of the information within Mallcomm can be tailored depending on who you want to be able to see that information. So if you have specific information that you only want store managers to be able to see, you can send information and make information only available to them. The same with just fashion stores or just first floor retailers or just food retailers. Or even if your property is split into different sectors, maybe you have an office section, you have a management section, a residential area, you can actually split up that information so that you can only allow functions and features to be able to be seen. So depending on who you log in as, depends on what information you actually see within the system. And it's controlled communication. This is not social networking for shopping centers. It is around engaging everyone, and it's not a replacement for center management teams walking around and talking to people either. It's a relationship tool. It's a way to build relationships with your tenants. It's a way to keep the information controlled and making sure that you're able as property management teams or landlords to be able to integrate much more effectively into a one-stop shop so that people can see the information that's relevant to them and they want to be able to do that. And therefore it allows you to engage everyone across your center. It allows you to manage your critical communication processes. You can share and manage key information. Also in terms of collecting information, one of the hardest jobs of a marketing manager in a shopping center is gathering information around promotions, job vacancies, offers to go into particular campaigns, and it streamlines all of that information. You can also collect sales on a frequent basis. So we have a number of our clients that have gone from taking monthly sales data from their retailers to daily sales information from their retailers, so that they can collect information about their sales from Black Friday or from Christmas period or from the weekend, this particular weekend of a campaign, automatically downloading that information and just also integrating it into other systems or back office systems that you might have. You can create internal loyalty and create that sense of community, allowing the retailers to promote themselves to the other retailers through that controlled communication, through various workflow systems and approval processes. And it comes with a lot of core functionality straight out of the box. You have customizable dashboards. You can create unlimited groups within your properties. So you can, as I said, you can create any number of different zonal information, sending information to people who are around a particular area of refurbishment work that's going on. You can upload documents, send attachments, and therefore creating really strong document libraries and resource libraries for everyone to know exactly where they need to go to get the information. You can send push notifications, pop-up warnings and messages. You can even lock the dashboards down with alerts so that they have to perform users have to perform a certain action before they can move any further forward, which is really useful if you want them to promote the fact that there's a meeting coming up, or if there's some information that they need to know about, which they may not have necessarily gone to previously. And of course, it manages all contact information. It also integrates with other apps on your phone, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. It's in multiple languages, and of course includes all full searching and store manager approval systems. And we also have a number of other modules that work in order to enhance that engagement. Things like sales and footfall that I mentioned, and staff loyalty, but also more operational maintenance and cleaning modules, creating brand advocates from your tenants and from your retail staff, and people who really have a vested interest in making sure that your property is as best it can possibly be. So they can actually upload images, they can send them directly to the maintenance teams or to the cleaning teams where they've seen things that need to happen, and vice versa. So if a property management team are walking around the shopping center and they see an area of maybe a cafe has breached out onto certain areas with its outside seating, or dirty signs or cracked windows, then the management team can actually take photos, create tickets, and send them to the store managers as well. You can do a lot of auditing and inspections, your daily checks, your bathroom checks, your point of sale signage. All of that information can be collected and delivered through the application, as well as staff car parking. One of the biggest challenges in Europe is around that all the staff come in the mornings, they park their cars in the best spaces, and of course all the customers are parking way back in the back. So being able to create dedicated staff car parking areas as well is a really useful tool to be able to handle. And then of course we have more engaging modules, our feedback and surveys and our polling, our marketing and events, being able to get feedback from your tenants is really important, and allowing them to be able to create competitions and brand awareness and engagement information is really vital to managing that property in itself. Job vacancies, offers are all available to be collected and then automatically posted straight onto your website if necessary.
David, we got a question coming in while you're going to the next slide. Do all the individual tenants need to have the app downloaded in order to receive messages from the center's management?
It helps if they do, and we encourage them to have the app because then they can get the information in real time. But there are email backups and SMS backups that also work, which works really well in a security environment because you can actually then send a message from one place, and if they have the app, they may have the document, the evacuation policy that goes with it. But if they don't have the app, but you know who they are, you can also send them an SMS or an email in just the same way, or even dial the store. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. Sounds good to me. Yep, he says yes. Thank you.
Great. So yeah, and actually that brings me on to kind of lost child and security and critical communication modules in terms of being able to really get messages around the mall and the shopping center environment really fast. So by engaging with the retailers and and encouraging them to download the app. And as I mentioned before, we get really good take-up rates. Over 90% of tenants generally will download the app, which means that you're confident in the fact that if you're sending messages out, that people are actually reading them. And we know that over, I think it's something like 75% of messages get read within the first 45 minutes of them being uploaded. So it starts to create an amazing relationship between your confidence in being able to communicate with the retailers and then being able to see exactly what is happening and in real time and engage with you in that way. Mallcomm is also a very much, we feel, as a one-stop shop or an open source platform. We have a number of different APIs which IT departments can use to integrate multiple other systems. Any web-based system can be integrated straight into Mallcomm, straight into a button. So you can integrate pages from your website. So if you're referencing information, you don't have to put it in 3 or 4 different places. You can always put it in one place and then link it straight into Mallcomm from there, which means that it makes your jobs and your team's jobs on site much easier in terms of managing that process. We also integrate with a number of other systems. Placewise and Everbridge are examples there, but we have other integrations that we work with in terms of operational systems and contractor tracking systems, for example. And of course, you can have full control over, and your IT departments can have full control over getting information into Mallcomm or getting information out of Mallcomm through our various APIs that you have access to, which is really useful from their perspective. A very quick case study, and I'm going to play a short video, and let's hope it plays okay through the connection. But this just really gives you an example of how one of our clients, Unibail-Rodamco Westfield as they are now, have really taken Connect, which is their white label version of Mallcomm, and taken it to make sure that it really encapsulates everything they do within their mall and everything they do across Europe. And it's helped them standardize certain processes, but be flexible enough to be able to create differences through different countries and differences through different shopping centers, even within the same country. And we have almost 4,000 retailers connected with the asset. In terms of just one single asset, have up to 4,000 retailers within their property, communicating on a daily basis with the property management teams to be able to affect their daily lives. And I have a video here, which Bethany, you might have to just help me out here to make sure that it is playing okay.
Yep.
Which just gives you an example of some of the ways in which a retailer can use the system to connect.
Looks good, sounds good.
Okay.
You understand that your wish is not complete. And I could make my baby understand. Something tells me that I'm dreaming. I can see the red waving unaware of problems that have a tendency to keep the truth alive. Well, from our mind, you need someone you can believe in. This time you declare, trust me, I'll be there. The road that leads to heaven can be so steep. I will help you fly, change your state of mind. Listen, baby, your wish is not complete. Baby, won't you understand that your wish is not complete? And I could make my baby understand. Your wish is not complete. Baby, won't you understand that your wish is not complete? David, we have a question while the video is wrapping up.
Yeah.
Any proven results with energy systems? While malls may be going in other countries, it appears that they're shrinking here in the US. Company names and focus.
Sorry, just.
So I think the first question is any results with energy systems?
You mean energy systems as in energy systems within the shopping centers? Or
we'll give Joseph a second to kind of elaborate on what he means on energy systems. The other question was, while malls may be going in other countries, it appears that they're shrinking here in the US. Company name and focus. Yes, he means utilities when it comes to the energy systems.
yeah, so yeah, absolutely. We work with utilities as well, lots of different ways. And what we try and do is we make sure that we have a number of flexible solutions to help manage that. Bethany, can you see my screen still, or has it gone weird?
Yeah, no, I can still see your screen. Yeah, it's
okay, great.
Communication with your tenants. Yep.
Yeah, so we can do various different things. So some of our clients, they will meter their utilities, and even something. I'll just give you a really simple example of how Mallcomm can help with the process. You know, when one of our clients sends their invoices to the head office, they actually can take a photo of the meter reading itself and submit it with the invoice that they've created through the system to be able to then send that off to the right department. And it can also go via the store manager as well, so it can also be kept in that loop. But we integrate with lots of different systems all of the time to help with we're actually working on a project at the moment around heating control, so being able to, and also integrating with IoT technology in terms of lighting and more dynamic solutions. And I think that's the way probably that properties and shopping centers will start to go, and all properties in that way, you know, that kind of working with more advanced technology and linking that in through a central point. And that's what Mallcomm can do, because it brings all of those different points together. And then just in terms of the properties that are shopping malls that are shrinking here in the US, I think that's actually a global thing. In my experience, I'm the group digital director for Toolbox Group, and I've operated all across Europe and now here in the US. And I was seeing a common trend, and I think that's why it's so important that retailers and shopping centers are working well together and bringing in temporary, where we're needing to bring in temporary leases and change the leasing structures and work with the leasing companies, and use Mallcomm also as an asset management tool to be able to actually bring together some of those that information to different markets. So therefore allows you to use one tool to manage lots of different parts of your business, and that really can help educate everyone and engage everyone who's working within any stakeholder, really. Does that help answer the question?
I think that's great. Someone else had a question, but I want to be thoughtful about time. You've got 5 more minutes. Do you want to just keep going and do questions at the end, or do you want me to keep going with questions?
Let me just go through a couple of things very quickly, and then I'll finish in 2 minutes, and then we can just do questions. So just wanted to cover off emergency communication, because that also was a question that came up earlier about, what if people don't have the app? And of course, we encourage people to have the app. We can't make them, but we encourage them to do that through the various different tools and offers and loyalty programs that we integrate with. But also, you can send information around via SMS or email that for people who don't have that information. And Mallcomm's really useful in terms of critical communication, in terms of templating notifications, being able to send lots of different messages to lots of different people all at the same time, which is really, really good and really useful. And also keeping contacts up to date. you would have seen in the video there that when it was Anna's first day at Forever 21, she registered her details, and then it was down to the store manager to approve her, to give her access to the system. And we engage with store managers to not only approve staff that work there and then remove them when they leave, but also add them as key holders, add them as emergency contacts, be able to know who has access to certain parts of the system, promote them to be a store manager. So when one store manager leaves, another one joins. We can really use the retailers to keep that information up to date for us, which is a really tough thing to do in a tenanted environment. And I kind of talked about the marketing connection, how we link our retailers to our consumer channels, making sure that we can add promotions, job vacancies, events, retailer events. We're even doing ticketing for events through retailers now, so that they can actually take bookings for their events, and also things like online bookings for food, online queue jumping systems through the app. So there's a lot of ways in which you can, the retailers can really maximize their promotions and their stores within the property. And of course, tenant engagement is very important, and tracking that tenant engagement can also be done through Mallcomm. The CRM module allows everyone in management teams to keep up to date with conversations that are happening, being able to have those full tenant communication reports, track the conversations that have been had maybe with one person within the store, but then somebody else had a conversation with a different person, and being able to keep those ad hoc communication and conversations always up to date. And as I mentioned about temporary staff, I think as retail changes and those bigger stores, and we're already seeing it with Sears here in the US, but in Europe we're being crushed by Marks and Spencer's, House of Fraser, Debenhams recently, all these big BHS a couple of years ago, all these big unit takers and these big space takers are falling foul to the new way in which people are shopping. So changing that up, keeping control of temporary stores, temporary staff, making sure that they're always engaged and they're included in what happens, allows you to be able to actually sometimes even take temporary stores and turn them into permanent additions. This would be a very boring part of the presentation, but around compliance, just to let you know, we are fully US-based data centers here. We have 100% uptime guarantees, and we monitor that environment 24/7 so that we can make sure that we do deal with that. And then I just wanted to show you, again, I think I've only got about 2 minutes left. So in terms of the actual dashboard system itself and the thing that you see, you can actually see those people who are logged in. Before you even send a message, you know who's logged in, how many people are registered, which stores are engaging with you, and which stores maybe aren't engaging with you, and those ones you need to go and have another conversation with. But also things around approval, benchmarking across portfolios. You can drill down into individual store information, individual information even. Look at this, a report of something here that I've looked into and how I've used the app, what I've responded to, when was the last thing I looked at, did I read that latest health and safety report that was very important for me to read. And of course, keep control of exactly what content you want to send through scheduling, through templating the content, and making it your own, and making yourselves proud of the information that you're sending in the same way that you would for your consumer comms as well. So finally, just for me, before I get into those last couple of questions, in terms of implementation, one of the things that we've really honed is our partnership that we work with our retailers. And one of the reasons why we get such good success rates is because we don't just sell you the software and say, good luck. We actually work with you to get the best out of the software. We can get you set up and operating in just 4 weeks, including full training, working with your retailers. We do full presentations to retailers. We meet with them in store. We explain the benefits to the system. We even have people that phone the stores up and make sure that if they have any problems, and they have full access to our support desk as well. So they can even ask questions around if they can't get access to certain information, and we work with the shopping center teams to make ourselves an extension of your teams, which is really, really a good thing to offer. We have full US-based support for technical queries, login challenges, any new developments that we might be having. And we use our community of clients to enhance our products all the time. So we want to make sure that we always do that. Okay, and I just made it, I think.
Thank you so much, David. Yeah, any questions? You've got his contact information right there. Please reach out to either him or Liz. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And so let's get ready to move on over to our next one.
Thanks, everyone.